Hey, you right guys, Trish Munch's Joe here, and today we are going to be talking about the films that I watched in July. Sorry that this video is a couple of days late, I just really haven't had the time to kind of sit down and talk about it, which I do apologise for, still been sitting on the film reactions. I watched 9 films overall in July, so just under the 10 mark. I don't know why I'm doing so bad with films like the past few months, I just am, but I guess because my life revolves around TV shows at the moment, but I do want to just sit down and binge loads of films, but I just don't have the time for it, unfortunately. I watched a lot of really good films this month, but quite a few of them were rewatches. So, one, two, three, four of those were rewatches out of the 9 that I watched, but all 4 of those are pretty fantastic films, I'd say. Yeah, all 4 of them were great films. I only really watched, I'd say, technically 2 bad films, but one of them I enjoyed, and the other bad film I kind of enjoyed, but not as much. And then a couple of these, like I say, are film reactions that are up on Patreon anyway, so you probably hear about me talk about them already if you are on Patreon. But yeah, we'll just jump into it. The first film that I watched was with Liam. This is on July the 1st, which was called Blade of the Immortal. I bought this a while ago because it's Takeshi, but it is his 100th film that he's done. 100 films, dude, that's insane. And I enjoyed it. This is one that, as just said, I thought it was good. Like, it was an okay film. I think it was a little bit too long. It started to really drag towards the end. It's just like an old school samurai film. So if you like samurai films and stuff, then I would recommend it because the action is really good. That's for sure. Like, it's well choreographed. There's no denying that. And I do like the main idea of the film with like this main character and then the girl, kind of bonding together and just going out killing people and like a little revenge mission. All that's cool. But I think when he got to the 2 hour 20 mark, I was kind of a bit actually bored of the action. I was a bit like, this is kind of dragged now. Needs to end. I think you could have shaved off about 30 minutes of this film easily. So it did start to drag towards the end, but the action was good. It looked great, like cinematography and all that was fantastic. So I ended up giving it a 6 out of 10 overall. It's not one I'll probably rewatch anytime soon. My favorite film of his is Audition. I think that's just Audition's fantastic. I didn't watch Audition this month, but if you haven't seen Audition, highly recommend that one. Then the next film I watched was a reaction that you might have seen, but Love, Simon. I absolutely adored this film. I thought it was fantastic. Kind of going into it, I was like, I thought I'd enjoy it at least, but I didn't think I'd end up falling in love with it. Like, I want to rewatch it like now, but I want someone to rewatch it with. I think I'll watch it with my sister because I think she'd really like that film as well. But yeah, this is such a cute story, and like I say, my full review will be on YouTube eventually when I upload the highlights videos, or if you've seen the Patreon, then you'll know my kind of full review of the film anyway. But it was just such a cute film. I love like high school drama stuff anyway, but it just added on the something that we haven't seen before of this character kind of coming out as gay. We have seen it before in film, but that was like the kind of main forefront of the story, I guess. At least not one that I've seen. But yeah, this is a beautiful film. I think the main actor did a fantastic job. It did definitely have a couple of flaws towards the end regarding side characters, but I think the main character and Catherine Langford were both great. Again, I ended up giving that one an 8.8 out of 10. I can't remember exactly. Or did I give it a 9? No, I think it's just below a 9. But yeah, I really want to rewatch this film. I thought it was so cute, so definitely check that one out if you haven't already. Then I watched Mother. This was my first rewatch of the month. I have seen Mother before. This is my second time seeing it, and I actually watched it with my mum and sister, which is a weird one. But I've been trying to get them to watch it for a while because I think it is. I won't spoil it for you. This one's a very hard one to explain. Watch the trailer, maybe. Watch the trailer on YouTube, see if it seems like your kind of thing. It is a very weird film, but I think it's one of those that you're always wondering what's going on with it. And towards the end, I personally think that the payoff and the meaning behind the film is fantastic. I absolutely adore it. And I was kind of worried watching it, are they enjoying it? Do they even know what's going on? Do they have any clue? And then they both, when it finished, they both said they really enjoyed it as well. So that's good. Yeah, that one is one of the more interesting films to just sit down and talk about. And it's an interesting one to rewatch as well because you kind of pick up on a lot of the smaller details throughout it. So yeah, I love this film. I loved it the first time I saw it anyway. I gave it a 9.2 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic film. A lot of people hated it. I can understand why people hate it as well. Like, don't. It's kind of like Hereditary in that sense. Like, I'll watch it, I'll love it, and I know a lot of people will love it as well, and a lot of people will hate it. But I can understand both sides of why they'd either love it or hate it. For me personally, though, with Mother and Hereditary as well, I adore them. I think they're fantastic. So check out Mother as well. I'd recommend like a lot of these films this month, to be fair. Then the next two rewatch as well. The film after that I watched was Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King extended edition. I did speak about Two Towers and Fellowship of the Ring previously, and then we finished up with we had like the group round again to watch The Return of the King, of course. This was the extended edition, was 4 hours and 10 minutes long. What the fuck? This is my favorite film of all time. I can, again, it does have a few flaws in there rewatching it, but to me it's not enough to bring it down a rating. It's still a 10 out of 10 film. It has been ever since I first watched it in like 2003. So it's been my favorite film of all time for what is that, like 15 years. That's mad. It's been my favourite film for 15 years. I don't see it ever being topped. It's like with 2000 Fellowship of the Ring as well. There'll be like 2 and 3 spots. And I think they always will be. I don't know. Films have come close to like... Films have like made their way into my top 5 recently. And definitely the top 10. But my top 3 have just never been topped for 15 years. And I just think it'll always stay that way. I'm sure plenty of you have seen Lord of the Rings. But if you haven't seen the trilogy... maybe not go into the extended edition straight away, maybe just watch the theatrical version, but I can't recommend them enough. Even if you don't like fantasy or anything like that, just give it a go. Oh, this is so good. I love this film so much. Like, so there's so many moments and scenes I won't kind of mention here because it's in a review of the film, obviously, but just iconic. Sometimes I just sit there in bed and just think about a good scene from Lord of the Rings, and that helps me sleep at night, and most of those scenes are from Return of the King. So, beautiful film. Don't have a flaw. Like I say, it's a little bit flawed, but for me personally, it's not enough to bring it down. So, yeah, my favourite film of all time, and obviously 10 out of 10. Then on the same day, I watched The Raid, the first one. This film is fantastic. If you love action films or just seeing good choreographed fight scenes, watch The Raid. There's like... The Raid 2 is 10 times better, and I'll probably watch that hopefully this month as well. But The Raid is a very simple story. All these cops have to go into this building that I think is 30 floors tall, and they just have to go through each floor and clear out all the enemies. Very simple story, but the way it's shot, the action, the main character, they give quite a little bit to him in this episode. I say that so many times in these videos. They give a little bit to him in this film, and they really grow on that in film 2. So you have to watch this one. Well, to be fair, you could watch film 2 without watching this one, but I would say watch this one first. It's very short as well. I think it's like an hour and a half, so it's pretty not gory, I guess, gruesome, violent at times. But the action is just outstanding. It's probably, I'd say The Raid 2 is my favourite action film, like actual action film of all time. And this one's a good little like teaser for that. So I really do recommend this film if you just want to see good choreographed fights. There's like 3. There's 3 in here that really stand out, and then there's like 5 or 6 in the second film. The second film's a lot longer, but I really recommend The Raid. And not a lot. I'm sure a few people watching this haven't seen that, so that's one I really recommend. Then I watched Black Panther, which was my second reaction of the month. Black Panther, I said in the reaction, but I think it's one of the better Marvel films, and I think it's a really good film overall. I do think it was a little overrated and overhyped at this point, but that was inevitable going into it because all I heard for the past, 6 months is how amazing Black Panther is. It is a great film, and like I said, it is one of the better Marvel films, but I do think I prefer Infinity War, Part 1, and there's a couple of other Marvel films like Winter Soldier, even maybe Civil War. I'd say I prefer to that, but overall I wouldn't say I was disappointed with it because I kind of went in with lower expectations. Like, I'd heard all this stuff about it, but I was like, maybe they're overhyping it because they're like Marvel fans, and I'm personally not that bothered about Marvel, to be fair, but I was surprised by it that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I do think like the whole one-on-one at the end was very disappointing. Like, kind of when I was editing that video, And looking back on it, I kind of wanted a bit more towards the end, maybe. But the visuals to it were outstanding. The acting was great, and the action overall was fantastic. It was just that final one-on-one that I was a bit disappointed in. But I enjoyed Black Panther. I don't think it's one that I'll revisit again soon, just because it is very long. I think it's, should say here, yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I say that Infinity War was like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. That was very long. But I think there's a couple of scenes in Black Panther where I was a little bit bored, maybe not bored, but it definitely slowed down in pace. Where Infinity War, I was entertained throughout the whole thing. But yeah, like I said, that's not to like slate it. I did really enjoy the film, for sure. It is one I'll rewatch, just not anytime soon, I don't think. Then this is the only one I rewatched, I think, but Wolf Children. I watched this with my uncle and my sister, or Liam, my uncle. It's so weird, but you know who he is by now, surely. But Wolf Children. This is one of my favorite anime films of all time. I think it's fantastic. I watched it for the first time almost 2 years ago, I want to say, and fell in love with it then. Rewatching it now, I think I like it even more. I don't know. It's such a cute film. I think the first 20 minutes are a little bit convoluted and a bit all over the place. But once you get past those 20 minutes, it's just such a nice story. It's a bit weird. It's about like two kids. Well, it's about a woman who falls in love with a wolf, maybe. He's also a man, don't worry. It's Teen Wolf, there you go. If you like Teen Wolf, you can watch Wolf Children. And then they have two kids and they're like half wolf, half human. And then it's about like raising those kids in the countryside. And it's really good. I'm not selling this at all, but no, it's just such a feel-good film. I absolutely love it. And the two kid characters, they're not annoying. The girl character is definitely better than the male son, or the son. The daughter's better than the son. But they both have their reasons to why they do what they do throughout the film. You'll see if you do like anime. If you like anime, definitely watch this one. If you don't, then maybe it won't be for you. But it's one of the early anime films that I watched, and I really got along with it. So I would recommend this one. This one I gave a 9 point. What is that? 9.1? Yeah, 9.1 out of 10. Like I said, it's fantastic. I love it. Definitely check that one out. Then my final reaction of the month was Twilight. Yes, this was the one that I was kind of mentioned a second ago, that it's really bad. It is a bad film, but I had so much fun watching it. I wasn't bored at any moment because I was just so entertained throughout it. And I actually want to sit here and do the entire saga now, because that film, I went in expecting to hate it, like Divergent. Like I've said what I need to say about Divergent, but just come out of it and be like, that was awful. And it was bad, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't bored at any point. I thought it was kind of fun to do. And I've just put up the poll for the next film to react to, and part of me, the dark part of me inside my soul, is kind of like, I hope, is it New Moon, the second Twilight film, kind of wins, because I want to just watch more. It was so stupid, man. Oh my god, it was so bad. But I enjoyed it. I ended up giving it a... See, I said this in the reaction, and I hate myself for it. I said technically this is like a 5 out of 10 film, or probably even like a 4 out of 10. Like, it is really that bad. But for entertainment purposes, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Because, like I said, I was just having so much fun watching that. It's got to get the 6 out of 10. If they get worse from here, then so be it. But that one alone, I'm not even going to lie, I was having so much fun with that. So Twilight was good. It wasn't. It was awful, but you know. And then the final film that I watched a few days ago actually, was The Incredibles 2. Finally got around to seeing it at the cinema. Everywhere else in the world, I swear, got this last month, or June, late June. We got it July the 15th or 16th, like a month later from everyone else. So hear all these people online and YouTube and all this stuff saying how amazing it is, and getting these incredible reviews. Like I actually didn't even mean to do that, but there you go. So I think it got a little bit overhyped, because I think it's the highest grossing animated film of all time now. Correct me if I'm wrong, which is insane. Like, I knew it would do well, but I didn't know it. I think it's just past, what is it, $1 billion. It's just doing incredibly well. So fair play to them. Like, they made a really good film, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's anywhere near as strong as the original Incredibles film. I wouldn't even say it's in my like top 5 Pixar films. It is really, really good. I wasn't bored at any points. I think like all the action, obviously the animation is fantastic. I think the characters are really good. Minus Violet. Violet really got my nerves in this film. I don't know why. She was just she was so annoying. Dash, Jack Jack, Mr. Incredible, and especially Elastigirl were great in this film though. I really enjoyed those characters. Violet, not so much. I don't think the villain was anywhere near as strong as Syndrome from the first film. I think that kind of brought it down a little bit. My favourite scene was the bike scene that they had with Elastigirl. That was the transitions, and that was so cool. And then the final scene on the boat was awesome as well. And then I did like the kind of side plot, even though I guess it was kind of half the film, of Mr. Incredible kind of looking after Jack Jack. I actually preferred that more so to what Elastigirl was doing. Even though Elastigirl was really cool, but I think every time we cut to her with some of the other side characters that they had for Elastigirl's story, I wasn't interested. I was only really interested in Elastigirl's story when she was like on a mission or talking to like her family or stuff like that. But when she was talking to the other superheroes, I really wasn't that bothered. Frozone was great as well. I'm just throwing that out there. Frozone was awesome. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I don't think it's as good as some people are making it out to be, but I still ended up giving it a 7.8 out of 10. I will rewatch it when it's out on Blu-ray. I'll probably watch it with my sister and mum. They are the films that I watched in July, so this one's a little bit late, but the films I'd recommend overall, obviously at the top of the list is going to be The Lord of the Rings, but I say that every month, that I'm sure many people have seen that already. So the other ones I'd recommend, if you like anime, Wolf Children. If you don't, maybe not. I think if people just don't like anime, they're not going to like Wolf Children. It probably won't change their mind on that. If you like action and if you want to see really well choreographed fight scenes, and just a fun film, that's just, if you're all right with like gore and a bit of a few violent scenes, very violent scenes, then The Raid is very short as well. It's only like an hour and a half. Love, Simon, I definitely recommend if you like those high school kind of drama things. High school dramas is kind of a genre to put it in if I had to, but there's a lot more to it than that. I would recommend Love, Simon, and then finally I'd recommend Mother if you're open-minded to having a very weird film and to something where you won't get many answers until the end of the film. You can figure out what's going on before the end of the film, but I would really recommend Mother. But be warned, just like Hereditary, it's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. And then Incredibles 2, if you like Pixar, you've probably already seen it. Twilight's just a bad film, and I'm sure everyone's seen that. Black Panther I enjoyed, but I wouldn't say it's at the top of my list for the month. And then Blade of the Immortal, I just wouldn't really recommend. It's fine. I mean, sure, if you like samurai films, then check it out. But other than that, yeah, it's alright. Yeah, I'd say my number one is Lord of the Rings, and then I'll say The Raid. Say if you have to check out a film, check The Raid out or Mother. But yeah, there we go, guys. They are the films I watched in July. Thank you for watching, and let me know down below any films that you might have seen in July or saw in July. I'm going to try and fit in 10 for this month, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I hope you're still enjoying these videos. I know they're not the most entertaining ones that I do, but thank you for everyone who watches them still. And yeah, I'll see you next month for the films I watched in August. Until then.